Do I really have to do this? You did the Season 3 video, you did the live stream, it's time for you to review it. Besides, your fans are watching, you don't want to disappoint them now, do you? Alright, let's get this over with. Okay, before I say anything else about the project at hand, I'll be the first to admit that when it comes to my YouTube channel, 2016 wasn't the best for me personally. I mean, in that year alone, I went through drama 3 times, put out some of the worst videos I could ever imagine, and was also responsible for me releasing this goddamn production. This is the STIX movie. For anyone unfamiliar with STIX, it's based off a YouTube series that I created all the way back in 2014. I mean, last month I just celebrated the series' 5th anniversary. And I've also made it well known that I am not proud of my content from 2014 to 2016 when it comes to STIX. I mean, I've heard lots of people complain that it's a Dick Figures ripoff, but if you're referring mostly to the earlier seasons, I can completely understand. The older seasons were just essentially ripoffs. Nothing new or interesting about them. Just essentially the same thing that Dick Figures had already established before. But it's safe to say that season 3 afterwards was when the show started to pick itself up again. But hey, I already talked about the earlier episodes, I talked about some of the new ones. Let's cap off this STIX review series by talking about the STIX movie. And I'll just say this right now, if you're wondering why I'm remaking this movie, you got this goddamn video to thank for it. Well, first off, it's kind of inappropriate to call this a movie as it's only 42 minutes, but I have heard general consensus that for a movie to be an actual quote-unquote theatrical production, it needs to be over than 40 minutes. It's just a shame that the word theatrical cannot be applied to the STIX movie because not only is it not a theatrical movie in the first place, but in terms of its quality, it's not even fucking close. So the actual movie starts off with a horribly rendered logo. We're not even 30 seconds into this production, and I already have something to complain about. First off, this isn't even a logo that I made. I just took a YouTube video with YouTube logo being used in a bunch of different ways and just put the word movies just to make it seem professional. Secondly, YouTube movies? Really? YouTube had absolutely nothing to do with this movie, and for goddamn good reason. Maybe the reason I did this was because I wanted to establish right from the get-go that this was a YouTube exclusive movie? Then if that's the case, get YouTube Red to do it for you. Or YouTube Red Originals, or YouTube Original. I don't know, they change that name like every 5 seconds. You know, you technically did that too by changing your name all the time in logos. Alright, Ross Trump, I get it, you don't need to remind me. Okay, so the actual movie starts off with an insert of a CinemaSins joke, and we get a nicely drawn playground. You know, that actually looks really good. I wonder who drew it. Well, for the record, I don't think it was actually me because this is actually clip art. I'm not even joking. Look it up on Google. It is clip art that I made black and white to cover up the fact that I stole goddamn clip art. In fact, the entirety of the first 10 minutes consists of images that I took from YouTube or Google because, oh, I'm too lazy to draw, so let's just put in random stuff in the background. Because clearly the first goal of making a movie is to make things look more professional. That's how it goes with most movies nowadays. They just try to put in something professional when in actuality it's kind of lazy. Anyway, we center on our main character Larry, who's enjoying his life in school until he meets a lonely child named Jacob, who turns out is an orphan. How is he an orphan?
Why are you here? Where are your parents? Look for yourself, genius.
Is the normal reaction that you'd expect out of any sane person. But nope, Larry just simply says,
"Oh, ouch. That's gotta hurt."
Okay, what the fuck, movie? Jacob just lost his 2 parents, got lost in a school, and Larry's reaction is just, oh, that's gotta hurt. Is Larry a psychopath? Is there a reason we don't see his parents in this movie? I didn't need to be given that thought, but now I just did. Thanks, Larry. You fuck. So in light of this news, Larry not only decides to take Jacob to an orphanage, in which his mum works at, so I guess that idea of Larry being a psychopath is thrown out the window, but wouldn't you know it, Jacob and Larry become best friends.
We even decided to live together. Our friendship was so awesome.
Did that sound effect of birds get added in, or were there actual birds in the background while I was recording this? And in recent times of the two living together, it seems as though Jacob has been giving Larry a lot of problems.
Why do I always have to clean up after you, Jacob? Can't you just do something good with your life? I'll say that the next time I ever consider a therapist. Which will be never. Just shut up. I want you to clean this mess up. I'm going out for a morning coffee with Zoe.
Okay, look. I get what this scene was going for. It's showing that Larry is annoyed by all the things that Jacob does. But does that really feel in character with Larry? If you've ever seen the show, and I mean season 3 onwards, Larry is a much more chill and laid back character. To be fair, he does get annoyed and sometimes he can get legitimately frustrated, but he's a much more laid back and friendly character. Given the situation that Jacob often puts him through, the worst he ever does is just say sarcastic comments and that's it. But here, Larry's just being overly angry. In fact, throughout the entire movie, he acts overly angry.
You know what Jacob's like, Zoe. He's like Red from Dick Figures. Only worse. Hey! No offense.
Is it supposed to be that you're acknowledging that you're copying another show, but you don't care? For God's sake, at least season 3 tried to be different. So Jacob and Larry decide to go and oh my god, these backgrounds, I can't stand them. They're not drawn, they're just clip out animations. I can't stand it. Until the two suddenly see an angel dying on the side of the street. If I could play a game for a second here, I want everybody to list every possible problem they can think of when they witness this moment. And if you're someone who managed to get at least 9 million correct guesses, you're a goddamn genius. Alright, but here's my 2 cents. 1. How is an angel dying on the side of the street? As far as I'm aware, angels are spirits. They live on eternally. They don't die. How is this possible? And yeah, I know it was probably some sort of evil magic, but still, angels don't die. As far as I'm aware, I don't even think they can get touched. 2. Where is everybody else? They likely would have just witnessed a fucking angel falling from the goddamn sky, and Jacob and Larry are the only ones who notice it. And 3. Why the hell does it have an Australian accent?
Is after the diamonds I've been around the world.
You stupid angel, this is America you're on. How on earth do you have an Australian accent? I don't care if you died in Australia and likely flew around America. How are you here? Why are you here? That then segues into the backstory where we get introduced to the main antagonist, Death. Oh, Death. How I wish you'd happen to me soon. Death is by far the worst villain I've ever created for media. In fact, he's also the worst villain I have ever seen in media. Seriously, name every villain that's better than Death. You'd likely come up with at least 1 million results. Death is a non-character. He has no personality, he has no goal, he's just the bad guy, for the sake of being the bad guy. And no, giving Death a backstory does not automatically give him some character. How is it that Super Mario Galaxy gave off a better backstory that actually established some character with Rosalina? I'm not saying she has a personality, but at least it establishes the kind of person that she is, and still makes her an incredibly lovable character regardless of such. I don't care what the fuck you say, Cleve, Rosalina's always gonna be superior to Peach. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. Anyway, so the angel tells Jacob and Larry that Death could potentially destroy the world unless they find 3 magical diamonds. Wow, not only is this movie ripping off Dick Figures with them needing to find 3 specific items, but it's also ripping off Sonic the Hedgehog, because the diamonds are literally Chaos Emeralds. Look at them! Although I gotta say, seeing a death battle between Shadow and Death would actually be pretty cool. But no, we gotta push that out of the way because we've got an actual story to tell.
We're just not up for something like this, dude. Plus, I've got lots of things to do. I'm tired of your attitude. You never want to do anything with me anymore.
Maybe he's just inviting me to have some fun with him. It seems like you never want to.
Alright, let's do this. Awesome! Now let's begin this adventure!
Congratulations, movie! You've officially earned the award for the worst motivation ever created for an animated film. Jacob and Larry are essentially going on this adventure not because they want to save the world or because nobody else wants to do it, but just because they want to have fun. Guys, Larry's birthday is coming up soon. You could spend much more fun having a party at someone else's house or some building, and furthermore, you're also risking the possibility of death. And I don't mean the character, I mean actual death. any movie has a better motivation. In Dick Figures the movie, the reason Blue wanted to go on the quest with Red was not because, oh, I want to spend time with this character just so I can know him more, but because he was that desperate to get a perfect gift for Pink. He was hoping to get her something that would justify the love that they had for each other, and he wanted it to be special so that they could stay together for as long as they lived. But nope, in this movie, Larry and Jacob want to go on this quest because they want to have fun. That's the only reason. Jesus Christ, Larry and Jacob's lives must be so boring that they're willing to risk it just to have a fun time. Sign me up for that shit. Either way, Jacob and Larry make their way to Rio where the first diamond is being held in a museum.
Oh, come on! I thought this would be free! It's a hotel, genius. For what?
Get it? Because Jacob's an idiot? And it's never been established if he could read? That would have actually been a better joke, but nope, he just does it because he's a cheapskate. Like that was ever established with Jacob's character.
Don't worry, dude. I got a plan. What? Have you ever doubted me?
Movie, if we wanted to know more about why Jacob's an idiot, we could have just gone back and rewatched the earlier episodes. I'm not saying we should, but there's an option. You don't need to waste 30 seconds of your runtime filling us in on backstories that many of us have likely already seen. So during the nighttime, they sneak into the museum, but end up getting caught because, you know, Jacob's an idiot.
Why'd you stop? There's a red light. The cops are chasing us! I don't want to break the rules. We already... move over, I'll drive!
Good lord, I can't stand the voice acting. I get that I was trying to give the characters more energy, but it's way too overdone. Even the remake of The Lion King had better emotion from the voice actors despite how overdone it was.
I'd rather take the easy way out.
Let me guess, he's too high off the ground and he's gonna fall. Yeah, what'd you know? I was right. Look, movie, if you're gonna tell jokes, could you at least not telegraph it in a way that the audience can tell exactly what's gonna happen?
This isn't a movie. This is real life. There's no way a spoon is going to You were saying?
Everybody's already commented about how backwards this is, so I might as well refill it for those who don't know. They were higher on the ground, and they are trying to dig their way through. Ignore how out of place this is. Wouldn't that put them on the second floor or something like that? They'd be in another prison cell. They'd likely run into another prisoner. I mean, that could have actually been fun to see, but nah, skip that. We gotta make way for the story because it's clearly the most important thing in this whole goddamn production. So after escaping from the prison, Jacob and Larry run into Death and immediately escape from him in less than 3 seconds, in the easiest damn ways possible. I thought Death was a supervillain, someone you can't really escape from that easily or outsmart that quickly. I mean, I guess the movie establishes that Death lacks... Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's just whenever I'm watching a bad movie, I'm always put in the mood to watch something better right afterwards. What I meant to say was Death lacks skill and intelligence. And whether or not that was intentional, it doesn't really fit into his character because he's easily able to kill a bunch of angels, and yet he can't kill 2 measly human beings. But while Jacob and Larry are trying to look for the next diamond, their girlfriends, Zoe and Stella, are wondering where they are.
Larry? Hello? Hey Zoe, where's Jacob? Have you seen him?
Why was I okay with Stella and Zoe having the exact same voice? It's remarkable. I couldn't believe how lazy I actually was with this production. I didn't believe I could ever reach that level. But nope, I did. I reached that level of laziness where I had 2 characters have the exact same voice. And I don't care if in the earlier STIX episodes Zoe and Stella practically had the same voice, it's jarring regardless. I had the opportunity to get 2 voice actors to play the different characters, and yet I still didn't. Oh, you know what? Forget it. I really shouldn't be wasting my energy on this goddamn thing. We all know why it's bad. On the other side, Larry and Jacob make their way to Hawaii by digging their way underground. Which I'm okay with, but does the movie really expect me to believe that they made their way to Hawaii digging in less than a night?
It's a movie for kids, fuck you.
Actually no, Math. This movie was made for adults, which is actually worse because this movie is made for adults, and not only would that treat kids like idiots because, you know, a lot of animated movies tend to stoop to that level because it's a kids movie and it's animated, but it also treats adults like idiots because it thinks they can't tell the true difference between quality and true content. Congratulations, STIX movie, you've officially lost yourself in turn. So after spending a night with Alan, Jacob and Larry make their way to the next location, Texas. On foot, by the way.
What? This is my tongue bitter.
I still begin to question why I was ever okay with this.
Ooh, this is some really good drink.
Hey look, it's a show I'd rather be watching right now. Jacob and Larry then meet a new character named Courage, the sheriff of the town. And he actually knows where the second diamond is located, and seems to know a bit of backstory about death. How? The movie doesn't explain it. It simply just states that Courage knows about death, and that's it. It just stops right there. And we don't have time to know about that because literally 5 minutes after we're introduced to Courage, he dies. And I'm honestly glad that's the case because, Nick, I love you, buddy. You're a great friend of mine. But Courage is an awful character. He's just death. He's a non-character with no personality other than just being the sheriff of the town. He's not badass, he's not funny, he's just nonsense. He's there because the movie needed an extra character or something like that.
You happen to have a dog with the same name?
Oh my god, a joke that was actually funny. And not just that, Larry actually feels in character in this scene. Did someone throw out the STIX movie Larry for this one shot?
Well, if it isn't my old friend Courage. I remember you trying to stop me many years ago and failing, like the weakling you were.
How did you find us?
He ain't no easy guy. He senses everything he hunts.
Wait, what did you just say?
How did you find us?
He ain't no easy guy. He senses everything he hunts.
So why didn't he kill them when he could sense them underground? Furthermore, if Death can sense where the diamonds are or who exactly he's hunting, then why didn't he get to the second diamond before Jacob and Larry could? Jacob and Larry make it out of the cave and Death gets himself knocked out, which might explain why he's not in the next scene when Jacob and Larry achieve the third diamond, but that's thrown out the window when Death is seen spying on Zoe and Stella while they're looking for the boys. Death, I know exactly what your plan is right here, but why don't you use that damn sensing powers to find the third diamond and achieve the goal you were trying to go for in the first place, you goddamn idiot! Oh god, I need to calm down. I'm turning into Oswald Chunkus right now. Jacob and Larry eventually make their way to Australia where the third diamond is located, cause get it, I'm an Australian. It only made sense for Australia to be a location in this movie.
Welcome kiddies to Captain Jack's booty hunt.
You are a pirate. You're fiddled indeed. Being a pirate is a recipe.
After a bunch of death-defying actions, which really seems out of place for a theme park dedicated to kids, that might explain why it was closed down, Jacob and Larry discover that the third diamond is not where it's supposed to be.
Where's the diamond? It's supposed to be here. Well, I was walking through the street one day and I saw this random diamond on the floor. I kinda took it home and it's kind of a lucky thing I didn't sell it for riches. Why didn't you tell me sooner? It's hard to remember things, you know? Yeah, for a person like you, it's easy to forget stuff so easily. I remember stuff in like, what, months later? You mean to tell me that we traveled halfway around the world looking for diamonds to save the world, and we literally risked our sorry little asses in this dumb amusement park that we suddenly realized all this time that you had the diamond back at our home when we could have just gotten the first diamond at home if you first told me about it. But because you were too stupid to remember, this is the perfect time to tell me, and we have to go all the way back, probably too late, because a fucking powerful monster is going to destroy our world!
Jesus, Larry, calm down, your voice is getting too squeaky. So the two boys split up, but Jacob meets Alan again at a bar.
I never spent the amount of time needed with my parents. They died in a car accident, and then Larry found me and took me to the orphanage. When they died, I felt so unfocused on what I was going to be like. The real reason why I act like a child is because I've never learned how to grow up and learn while being a child. I didn't have parents to show me and teach me to get mature as I got older. I guess that's why I always relied on Larry in order to learn right from wrong in my life. It's been like that ever since we were children.
Okay, so I complained about Larry earlier on in the movie about how he's too much of an angry asshole. But that does not automatically make Jacob less of a problem. I'm sorry, but throughout the entirety of this movie, I cannot stand Jacob. I know Jacob can be an idiot, but he's not retarded. He at least understands the consequences of actions and tries his best to help out. He simply just doesn't know the best case scenario of what he's supposed to do. Sometimes he has to do these things in different ways if he thinks it'll solve the problem or if he thinks it'll help him out. Instead of that, this movie relies on Jacob's stupidity as as plot points because, you know, it's a major crux to the story. The only reason these bad things are happening is because Jacob's being an idiot. Ho do, funny. Hell, for as much as I don't like Red in Dick Figures the movie, at least his stupidity was only used for comedy's sake and not for story purposes. That didn't make Red less of an unlikable douchebag, but it at least made him less insufferable than Jacob is in this whole goddamn 42-minute special. And yes, at this point, I'm refusing to call it a movie now. Furthermore, Jacob, not having parents does not automatically make someone stupid. You lived at a goddamn orphanage. I'm sure they'd have adults that would support and guide you through your life of becoming an adult. Whatever, let's just end this production. I can't stand it anymore. So Larry makes it home, but the diamond's not there. He gets knocked out, and as it turns out, Death has the diamond, and he's kidnapped Stella and Zoe. Like we didn't already know that was going to happen. Jacob comes back to help Larry, the two engage in a big climactic fight, Alan appears for a few seconds, yada yada yada, Death is dead, reconciliation, dance party ending. Oh wait, I'm sorry, it's actually still going.
And yeah, even though he's been a bit of an idiot, Jacob's still a great friend of mine. We went on one crazy hell of an adventure, and even after all that, our friendship is still quite strong. I mean, how could it possibly get worse?
Nothing, Larry. Nothing could possibly get worse. Because this whole movie was worse than anything that you could have ever asked. So that was the STIX movie, and... do I need to say more? I hope now some of you can at least understand why I didn't want to review this initially, because this was just so hard to get through. Everything about it is terrible. The animation's terrible, the voice acting's terrible, the characters are terrible, the story in general makes no sense. It's one of the stupidest movies that I've ever seen that it makes Norm of the North look like the Lion King. The good one. I have no doubt to say this is the worst thing I've ever made. Yes, it's worse than my original worst cartoons video because at least that had some amount of knowledge to it. The characters are completely unlikable. Not one of them stands out. I mean, Alan is nice to see, but everybody else is just so insufferable. Death is a non-character, the girls serve absolutely no purpose, Courage is there just because the movie needs a new character, and Jacob and Larry are just the fucking worst. Larry comes off as too angry and unreasonable, while Jacob's just too idiotic to have any sympathy for. And I know Jacob apologizes for the actions that he did, but that doesn't automatically justify the bad things that he did. And the voice acting is just god awful. I have no idea why I was okay with this. The worst thing about it is that none of the voice acting was a fault of the people playing the characters, it was just me being damn lazy. Listen, I don't think the Dick Figures movie is that good, I'll be the first to admit that, but at least it set out what it was trying to do. This, on the other hand, is nothing. It's a nothing production, and I can hope that at least some of you can understand why I'm remaking it instead of making a sequel, because quite frankly, this movie is not good enough to deserve a sequel in the first place. Well, thank God it's finally over. I cannot tell you how dreadful it was to get through my own creation again. I hope you're happy, Roz Trump. Oh, I certainly am. I haven't seen you this frustrated in a long time. And I gotta say, it's good that I got this movie off my chest because I've got another marathon planned. I realize it's been a very long time since I've done one of these, but it's always fun to come back to them. But this time, I'm gonna let you guys decide what marathon I should do first. Now, I'm gonna get to all of these series eventually, but I'm gonna let you guys decide which one I should do first. You've got three choices here: the original Ratchet & Clank games for PS2 and PSP, the 2D platforming Yoshi games without any of the side stuff, or another Sonic marathon where I talk about some of the 3D games. There's a voting poll in the description below, you can go check that out, and I'll decide the winner at the end of the next Let's Tackle video. And in that video in particular, I'm gonna be returning to a familiar IP that I haven't touched on in a very long time. Oh, you're finally gonna talk about Spyro! It's been a long time since I've talked about him, but I'm not going to be reviewing the Reignited trilogy yet. Instead, I'm going to be focusing some attention on one of Spyro's lesser known games for the PlayStation 2 after Enter the Dragonfly. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and keep on playing. I hate you.